Jesus. They want help, they want healing, they want miracles, they want some new wine. They're bored. That's a good one. Entertainment. How did they entertain people back then? Storytelling. Yeah, so the number one reason, we see this all through Mark up until this point, the number one reason why people went to Jesus was to be taught, to learn something new. Well, that's interesting. We would think they would want to go to a magic show because Jesus could do magic or look like magic, right? That's not why they went. They went because what else does this man have to say? So Jesus begins teaching them. And by this time, it's late, really late in the day, and the disciples come to him. Hey, Jesus, they must think Jesus is dumb. Jesus, this is a remote place. We are out in the boonies, the middle of nowhere. We're out in the middle of nowhere. We're out here in the boonies, Jesus. Where? They said, and it's really late. It's already very late. Send the people away so they can go to the surrounding countryside. And, they go shopping in the local villages. And they can get something to eat. Jesus, there's a whole lot of people here. Let's get rid of them because then we'll have a chance to eat. And they can go off and get something to eat. And so we're being nice when we get to take care of ourselves. And Jesus stuns them. He stuns them. What's stunned? He shocks them. He stuns them. No. He said, no, you give them something to eat. They didn't have time to eat. They didn't have the time to go to 7-Eleven and get something. They didn't have nothing. And so, what? They don't have, there's 5,000 men, we find that out. And then there's women and children, so there's probably 10, 12,000 more. We don't know, but there's definitely more than 5,000. And they don't have, these 12 people don't have enough to eat. And they say, well, you want us to go do what, to where, for whom? We can't do that. No, Jesus, you feed them. And they say, well, that would take, now this is a weird number. It would take a half year's wages. The actual number is 200 denarii. It would take us 200 denarii. What does that mean? What's a denarii? Money. So a denarii is the equivalent of 1 day's pay. So, Jane, you work, right? Got a part-time job? No. Who's got a part-time job? Simone. Hey, Jane. Teacher. So how much do you charge an hour? Make up something. We don't know. $50 an hour. All right, so $50 an hour. If I worked 8 hours a day, how much would that be? $400. Now, if I had made $400 in 1 day, if I made $400 in 1 day, and I added that up for 200 days, how much would that be? $80,000. So the disciples are saying, Jesus, what are you, nuts? All we have is $80,000. Now, that's a very arbitrary. That's a number pulled out of the middle of 200. Now, here's the thinking. That's how much money they had in the bag. So Judas, hey, Judas, how much money we got? We're good for about 200 days here. Right? There's 12 of us. We're good for 200 days. And so, they look in the bag and, well, this is how much money we got. We're going to have to spend the whole lot. We're going to have to spend everything we got, and we're still not going to have enough to feed these people. Well, look at that. Well, what do you got? Jesus speaks better English than I do. What do you have? He says, how many loaves do you have? What do you got? What do you got? Go find out. And they went and found out, and they found 5 loaves and 2 fish. What are we going to do with 5 loaves and 2 fish and 5,000 men who had just ran around the lake? They just did a 10K around the lake. Well, that's probably about what it was. 10K, 4K across, around 10K. They just ran 10K. They've been run 10K before. You get hungry, right? 5K. Well, do it twice. So these guys. Now this is great storytelling. All right. Jesus directs them, the disciples, to have all the people sit down in groups. And this is one of the very, very, very few times, if not the only time in the entire Gospels, that we get to see a color. Sit down on the green grass. Now, we know that the grass is green because this is April. This is March, April-ish. This is the spring season, early rains. What happens when it rains a lot? turns green, right? It doesn't get tall. If you wait till the end of summer, it's all dried out and hay and all that stuff. So what happened, we're in April. This is during the Passover in the early part of the year, around springtime. It had been raining. The grass is all green. Now, man, green grass. Mark tells us it's green. And Jesus say, sit them down in groups of hundreds and fifties. Now, now you get a little imagination here. Put on your imaginative eye. You got some creatives here, I know. He puts them in groups of 50s, and he puts them in groups of hundreds on the hillside that's green as can be, right? Now, why would he put them in groups of 50 and hundreds? We can count. 1, 2, 3. We got 50 groups of 100. That must be 5,000 people. We got 100 groups of 50. We can start predicting how many people we have here. But the way he arranges them, and Mark uses a couple of Greek words here. I think it's prosei, symposia, symposia. Prosei, symposia, symposia. Symposia sounds like symposium, right? Well, a symposium is just a group of people, right? Prosei is flower bed. Jesus said this. This is fun. Jesus said, let's put them on the green hills like a flower bed. And so he takes 50 people and he puts them in an upside down U, right? You got 14, 15 people, 14, 15 people, 14, 15. So you got this U shaped here, like they would sit when they're having meals. They would lay like this. So you put them in the shape of a U. Now imagine a green hill, as wide as can be, and you got little upside down U's all over the place. All over the place. And every one of those little U's, upside down, square U's, all over the place. 50 is a big one, 100 is a bigger one, 50 is smaller, 100, you've got them all over the place. And everybody in those groups is wearing a different color. Now, we know this kind, don't you? Got these people all wrapped up in greens and oranges and pinks and yellows with the headscarves that are bright as can be. We see that, right? When you look at Indians at the market, when you look at third world countries at the market, all their clothes are bright colors because they can't do the shades. It's what's that called? The primary colors, right? Red, yellow, green, blue, orange, indigo, violet. And so you got all these upside down U's with all these people planted in them, all different colors. What's it look like? Ooh, a flower bed. Jesus decorates the hillside with people. That's cool. Who else could do that? And so not only does he create an extremely vivid, memorable picture, it's beautiful. Now, this is about the third year of Jesus' life, so it's about 32 or 33 AD. We can look this up. We've got 5,000 people just outside of Bethsaida, plus all their wives and children. We have a whole lot of people sitting there watching Jesus. Now, if Jesus did something stupid, do you not think that somebody else would have noticed? Is Peter and Mark and John, all four gospel writers, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and now Peter and John, all four of them say Jesus did this at this time, in this place, at this location with this many people. He fed all of them. Well, wouldn't somebody say, I was there, and no, I didn't get anything to eat. Where is the contrary? Where's the opposite here? Nobody said that's not how it happened. Because why? That's what happened. So we got 5,000 people dressed up like a flower bed. This is the me and now's not the time to fall asleep. He took the 5 loaves and the 2 fish, and he looked up into heaven and he gave thanks. What does give thanks mean? Thank you, right? No, the Greek word for giving thanks is eulogy. Eulogy. What's a eulogy? That's what you say to dead people. That's what you say to the dead person's family. Let me say something nice about this guy who's dead. Eu means good. Logos means to speak. To say something good about a dead person is eulogy. Jane, Jesus eulogizes the fish. What? The fish. He's going to say something. Dear God, thank you for these fish who've given their life to us. We sacrificed, and they've given me, and I pray this. Thank you for the cow who sacrificed his life so we can have these hamburgers, right? Jesus, that's what Jesus is doing, except he's speaking well of the fish who have given their life. Now, for those of you online, there's a link to watch the puffer fish. We're going to watch this. This is so cool, right? And if this doesn't flabbergast you, I don't know what will. All right. So I'm going to stop talking for about 3 minutes and 12 seconds. You can watch it. There's a link. Okay, let's go. Or not. Yeah.
Unfortunately, this small Japanese pufferfish is dull, almost to the point of invisibility. But to compensate, he is probably nature's...
What happened?
Greatest artist. To grab a female's attention, he creates something that almost defies belief.
Creates. It's just like fish. It looks like Jane. Watch this.
His only tools are his fins.
If you can't see this, I'll send the link later for you guys. Jerry, for Pam, you guys online, I'll send you the link later. Cute. They just said I'm cute. Oh, they meant the fish.
Of mathematical perfection. He plows the sand, breaking it up into the finest of particles. These shells aren't just rubbish to be removed. He uses them to decorate the bridges of his construction. He can't rest for more than a moment, but must work 24 hours a day for a week.
Because the current will destroy his decoration.
His creation.
So he has to keep working until he's done. He can't pause.
A final tidy up, and his masterpiece is complete.
He's trying to get a girlfriend. This is how pufferfish gets girlfriends. Look at this. We're not done. Watch this. Look at that.
Nowhere else in nature does an animal construct something as complex and perfect as this. If this doesn't get him noticed, nothing will.
Gosh, I want to marry him, okay? All right, so hope you guys watch that online. If not, I'll send you the link. So somebody in the YouTube comments. Have you ever read YouTube comments? They're really nasty sometimes. They're so funny. Some guy wrote in there, a fish can draw better than I can. That's incredible. Now, if you think for a moment that that fish just rolled out of bed, popped up out of some primordial soup, and suddenly he could do that, then you are the fool, not the fish. There's something inside that fish that was predetermined that he. That's incredible. Now, if a fish can do that, we can understand why Jesus would see the fish giving its life as a sacrifice, wouldn't we? Now, he didn't feed them all puffer fish, but he fed. Jesus is the creator of fish, who is the creator of designs. And so when they're sacrificed, Jesus would speak well of them. He would offer a eulogy for a fish. And he gives thanks to God right there. And then he broke the loaves. Now, here's a mystery that I think is beyond fathomable. He broke the loaves. Now, this is, he gave them to his disciples. He gave, should end in the words ing. He broke the loaves, right? That's past tense. But he was giving the food. Now, here's a question. I was asking Mia in the car. This is why she came with me, because I told her I wouldn't tell her this. I bribed her. I forced her. How did Jesus multiply the fish? How did he multiply the loaves? He broke them and then he was giving that to them. Where is the multiplication factor here? Broke and then giving. He broke and then he's giving. Where does he take this little bread and break them into 5,000 little molecules of little pieces of crumbs and spread out this 5,000 crumbs and then spits on and then they puff up and then people eat? Is that how he did it? Does he take a fish and he stretches his tail? Does he poke his eye out and squeeze the eye and spread it? Where does the magic take place?